Today I'm going to be doing a playthrough of Keep Up the Fire, the Boxer Rebellion. I've only played it once before, so I may have to refer to the rules, but the rules are very straightforward, so it's inexcusable if I make any mistakes, really. I'm going to do the setup now, but I'll talk about something as I do the card deck, something somebody raised about this game not teaching them much about the Boxer Rebellion itself, which I confess is something I didn't know much about either. So I'll follow the setup and then I'll explain what I'm talking about there when I get to the card deck. So the first thing to do, let me just move this here. You've got these strength units for the boxers, and what you do to start with is just select the 3 and the 4 and put those in a little cup. The rest go to one side and they get added as the game goes on, or taken away at times as well. So I'll just put that off to one side. I'll move it into, it's just over there, you can see, so I'll move it into view as we go along. I should really have explained the aim of the game. You've got 2 bits here. The 8-nation army themselves are trying to keep the Chinese from reaching Fort Halliday. So each of them, they're attacking through these areas, and you've got to keep them at bay and also keep some of your units alive. In the meantime, the relief column is coming from Taku to reach Peking. Once you get the relief column there, you've won, or potentially won, depending on victory points. The game I played before, I did lose because all my 8-nation army were wiped out. So that's the end of the game. I should have started with that. So we've got the Chinese strength units in place. The next thing to do is place the fortification marker, Legation fortification marker, on the 0 space. That's your defences. And the 4 directional Chinese combat power markers on the 0 spaces of their respective tracks. So the north one, if you can see that, goes in the 0. Oh, it'd help if I put it in the north, wouldn't it? The west, the 0, which you can just move that so you can see that one as well. And you've got the east in the 0 and the south. The Allied combat power markers on the Legation strength track in the upper left, so it tells you where you're putting them. The German one there, French there, the Russian, yeah, Japanese, United Kingdom, United States, the Italians and the Austrians. Now we have the 8 Legation units here, which are where they are going to fight. Now, really, because it's going to be random early on where everybody attacks from, it doesn't make a lot of difference. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time setting it up. We're going to put +1 to a hit for long range shooting. The Russians are +1 legation. They all have something +1 legation melee casualties. That's not a good thing to have. But you could balance that off with the Japanese one, which is -1 legation melee. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put that one there. I should show you this one. -1 to a hit at extreme range. So let's have that one on the northern track. +1 Chinese melee casualty. I think I'm going to pair that up with the Russians. Actually, no. Yes, I am. What I don't want is any of the strongest ones together. But the Chinese is also, the British, +1 melee casualty. So let's put those in the west. These can be moved as we're going along, and I will explain that. The French has got +1 to a hit at long range. In fact, I'll change that. Let's do that. Put these there like that. And then finally, we've got the Portuguese, the Austrians, not the Portuguese. +1 Chinese melee casualty. So they go in the west. The relief column has speed and combat power markers. And they go. Start there. That one starts there. 8 Nation Army. This is your relief column that's coming, and that starts in Taku. Now the other units come into play at later points. What we've got here, I'll just show you. We've mentioned these are what attacks the relief column. These chin and boxers are the ones that will attack peeking themselves, so they'll be incessantly coming onto this board. And then we've got these heroic effort, keep up the fire, and the artillery token, which don't start in play. I will put them just along here for now. And right, onto the card construction. Now, this is where I'm going to disagree with the review that I've seen. The review said that this teaches you nothing about the Boxer Rebellion, and it doesn't teach you anything about the Siege of Peking. Well, it does tell you a way of doing this, and I didn't do this the first time, so I'm going to do it now. But I'm going to talk about it as though I'm setting up a random game, so you'll see as I go along. So first thing is deck A, which is this one. Separate the cards into deck A is cards 1 to 12 legation deck. So as you can see, starts at 12, 1. Deck B, legation cards 13 to 24. Deck C is the relief deck with cards 1 to 12. I think, because I don't seem to have number 1 there. Two. I've done with that one, so these are 13. So that's going to be deck D. Now where am I missing it? This card 1. Yeah, I've read that as an I, so yeah, it's right in front of me all the time. So deck C is there, 1 to 12. Deck E is cards A to F, which is there. They're not in any particular order. And finally, G to L. So they're there. Now it says remove card 1 from both deck A and C, and card 13 from decks B and D. So so card 1 is here, card 13 is here, because I've got them all in order at the moment. Card 1 again, and card 13. So they're removed. Now, random remove 2 cards from deck E and 2 cards from deck F. That's E and F. These won't be used in the game, so let's just take out that one and that one. And similarly with these. Check out that one, that one. So we discard those. Put that off to one side. Take 2 cards, unrevealed, from deck E and mix into deck A and shuffle. This is where it's going to be difficult today because of the way I'm doing it. Right. Now I was going to show you how to do it. I'm going to do it without the events, which will make a difference. I'm not sure whether it'll make it easier or harder because they're a mixture. The reason for that is demonstrating that it should show you what to do. How the siege occurred. Because what we're going to do is we would now at this point take these and shuffle them. So we shuffle this one, we shuffle that one, we shuffle that one, and we shuffle that one. Then these cards will go on top because they're the first to be drawn. But all we're going to do here is put that one on top, that one on top as it was, and it's going to go there. We're going to put that one on top, that one on top, and it's going to go there. The reason for that is all these tell you what happened at certain times. We've now left them in date order. So these cards will tell you the story of the siege as it unfolds. So these events actually happened during the siege and the relief column coming. So which is why I disagreed with it doesn't teach you anything. It literally should take you through the story of the siege of Peking. So that's the way we're going to play it. And that is the setup done. One thing I am going to do, it doesn't tell you anything, the heroic effort mark I'm going to put in the not ready box, because you can, as far as I can see, you can use that at any point. There are cards that let you have it in play, but using one action to activate, place the marker in the ready box next to the draw deck. So the ready box is down here. Once ready during every subsequent legation action phase, this marker may be used. So we'll talk about how it's used anyway later. So let's begin. And the first phase, you've got the tells you the sequence of play here as well. So sequence of play, we've got the card phase. So what we're doing is the Empress Dowager issues an edict in support of the Boxers. All Boxer units only, not Qin, advance 2 spaces during this turn. Spaces this turn during their advance segment. January 1900. Reversing previous rulings critical of the Boxers, the Empress decides to support the Boxers and encourage their efforts to eject all foreigners from China. Which is basically what the Boxer Rebellion was. You've got all these different nations were fighting for parts of China. When I say fighting, not literally fighting, they were undergoing a power struggle to try and take a chunk of China, and this is where the Chinese rebelled against the imperialists. Okay, so there's a few things this means here. The 4 means I can have 4 actions this turn, and to signify that, I'm just going to put number 4 there so we know how many we've used. This indicates, the red mark indicates a Boxer token. So we have a Boxer token, north, east and south. They all start at extreme range, sorry. Now, we've got to look at our combat power is, and on each of these, you can see that it's got number 4. So they all start with a 4. No. So I've got 4 turns. It's difficult to hit at long range. Oh, man, it's not not impossible. Roll to hit die with any dice roll modifiers and compare the results to the Chinese units command points. Well, there are no modifiers at extreme. Oh, there is. The Italians actually lose one at extreme range, so that's a negative. +1 to hit at long range, but we're not at long range here. We're still gonna have a go at it, but what I want to do first is get my fortification levels up, which helps us when we get into the melee part of it. So I'm going to use 2 to go there, and now I'm thinking I'm going to try and shoot. Just trying to think whether to do it once or twice. I'm going to try a shot. It doesn't matter which of it's just a general shooting at these. And the reason for that is because the Russians have +1 legation melee casualty. I'd rather take this one out before they get into the melee area. So we're going to roll the dice. The combat power is 4. We need to be above that, so we need a 5 or a 6 to hit the boxers. And it's a 2, so we haven't. We've got 1 turn left. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do the same thing, so we need a 5 or a 6. And we've got a 6. So what we do now is we roll for casualties. And there can be modifiers on this, so we've got a 2. So we've got a 2, that's our basic number, that's also our last turn. So let's look to see if there are any modifiers in this occasion. If you've got the international gun in play, you do have modifiers. And there is a modifier. And there's 2 modifiers that cancel each other out. Because we're at extreme range, there's -1 off the casualties, but because it's a boxer unit, there's +1. So they those modifiers cancel each other out. So the dice roll of 2 amounts to the casualties. So we drop that down to 2. So their combat power is reduced. And we now, all boxer units, advance 2 space. Normally, in the Chinese advance, they'd advance 1 space, but they're all boxer units at the moment, advance 2. So they've actually gone, nothing on that one, they've actually gone straight past the shooting part of this. And if we want to take them out now, it's melee. But that is the first sequence, that's the legation phase. Now we're going to the relief column phase. Empress Dowager issues the edict in support of the boxers, same thing. 9th of June 1900, which is actually 6 months after a reverse ruling that we've just read out. Sir Claude MacDonald called Vice Admiral Edward Seymour, commander of the British Navy's China station, that the situation was becoming more serious and the troops should be landed with all arrangements made for an advance to Peking at once. So they've had the warning. They know there's trouble in Peking. And sorry, how many actions do I have? I have 2 actions this turn. What I should have done as well is taken, sorry, I'm making mistakes already, it doesn't really affect anything, but I'm taking one card, one of these, that one. So it's combat power of 4, and that goes on top of there. And you'll see it's not really going to make a difference, because what can happen is a Chinese blockade attack. So if the current card indicates a special blockade attack, you perform that. Doesn't, so we're not doing that. We now have 2 actions, and what I want to do is get the first few turns. I will not be moving that relief column, because what I need to do is get the combat power up and the speed up, and this will become apparent. So each action moves it on one box, so I'm going to move that combat power to +1, which is to help me in case I do get a blockade action against me. So that's turn 1. That then goes back in the cup. And that is it. That's the turn. That's all there is to the game. Very simple to play, not necessarily simple to win. So let's go on with the next card. So 31st of May 1900. At the request of the foreign embassies in Peking, 435 Navy troops from 8 countries are sent to the foreign legation compound to join in its defence, which is these guys. This turn only, you may add +1 to relief column combat power for a -1 combat power to any 2 legation forces. So we could add 1 to that when we're rolling, but we lose 2, we lose -1 CP. So that won't be, I'm not going to be doing that. We've got 3 turns this turn, so let's put this on there, 3. Apologies for the sun, it is very sunny today, so I know I'm getting a bit of reflection on that. And if there's already units on the map, we don't add additional ones. You only ever have 1 on this track. So the only one we're interested in here is that 4. It means we're getting a boxer unit coming through in the west. And it's got a 4 on it, so its combat power is 4. And we've got 3 actions. What do we do? Well, what we need to do really is hit some of these. So we're going to use an action to hit that, an action to hit that. First of all, we're going to have a melee attack on this boxer unit, and it's 1. All we roll is 1 dice, and then we resolve it. Let's have a look here. So it's a 1, which isn't. It's not great in some ways, but in others it is. So let's have a look at the melee casualties. So now, first of all, we're applying the casualties to the Chinese losses. Always do that first. So it's equal to the result of the above die roll, 1, +1 if it's a boxer unit, so it's 2. If it's in the street fighting space on the track, it can change. You can see there +1, but it's not, it's on this one. So we've got 2, we've got at the moment. And if the, there's Benny. And there's no difference to the Chinese melees in there. So we've got a score of 2. So this one has gone down to 2. So we're still there. So that's our first turn. We haven't done our own casualties, which I think we should be at now. Your casualties, the final score, it's shared between them, which we'll come to. So let's have a look. Legation losses were applied next with the number of casualties inflicted equal to the result of the above die roll, which is 1, adding 1 if that Chinese unit is a boxer unit, which it is, so it's 2, and add 1 if it's in the street fighting space on that track, which it's not. Then subtract 1 loss if the legation unit from Japan is defending that track. The attacking Chinese unit is at 1 command power, which is not. Or finally subtract the wall value, either -1 or -2, as shown on the map. So we've got a roll of 1. This goes up to 2 with the casualty. But then -1 legation casualty on the board, and -1 legation melee casualty. So 0, so there's no damage to our units. So we are now, for our next one, we're going to have a go at this one. There's 1 go after this. let's have another roll. And it's a 2. So let's see what that means. So it's 2 plus 1 because it's a boxer unit, and plus 1 because the Germans get an extra casualty against the Chinese. So we've got a score of 4, and this is on 4. So that is eliminated, but we don't eliminate until after we've worked out any damage to these guys here. So our casualties, so we've got a dice roll of 2, goes up to 3 with the boxer casualty. It's not in the street fighting space on the track. But we have got -2 there, so all we've got is 1 casualty. So when the legation casualties total 1 or more, they must be applied to the units defending the track where the melee attack took place only, and, if desired, to the fortification level of the legation compound. So they must be divided evenly, so you've got to, say with a score of 2, you've got to take 1 off each. You can't take 2 off 1. Or you can drop the fortification level down. Melee attack casualties can also be taken as reductions to the legation's fortification level at a rate of 1 level per casualty. So the way that works is, say we'd rolled 5. We couldn't, if that was up here, we couldn't take 3 off the fortification and just 1 off each of these. It's got to be evened out. And I've forgotten what the score was. So we've 2, 3. So it's 1, all we've got is 1 casualty there, haven't we? So all I'm going to do is take the fortification down a level. So no casualties yet, which is good. And as we know, that one now is now gone. What I'm going to look at now is I'm going to try and take this one out with our final go. So let's roll the dice again. I've got a 5. And we are going to take some casualties here. We can tell we're going to take that boxer out because 5 plus 1 boxer casualty. So it's on 6. So that's gone. But what casualties we're going to have to our guys? 5 plus 1 to the boxer, so because it's a boxer, we're up to 6. Plus 1, because it's the Russian unit, 7. Down 1, so it's 6. So we're taking 6 hits here. So let's go. 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits. Can't do anything else on the fortification because we're down. I'm going to get the Russian, I'll let the Russian go down another 1. Because the Russian isn't, because of that legation casualty, it's less preferable. So that's, I'll leave that there. That's our turn done for the legation. Now we're on to the relief. Oh no, sorry, we need to move these units on, don't we? That goes to there, that goes to there, that goes to there. Nothing in the south. Oh sorry, that one's gone because we're on 0. It's not too bad. So that one is, if we don't do anything about that next turn, it's the end of the game. But we will do something about that. That's not going to be an issue. Let's have, what we'll do first, we'll use the movement thing again. And it's a 4. Foreign Navies dispatch international force, 10th of June 1900. Admiral Seymour assembled in 24 hours a force of more than 2,000 soldiers and marines from European, American and Japanese warships. He prepared to embark for Peking by train from Tianjin, 75 miles away. -1, dice roll modifier to relief column attack die rolls this turn. Again, we've got 2 actions. We're not going to do that. What I'm going to do with my 2 actions is merely increase that, and that's done. We will be doing more on this board later on, but this is just, I don't know whether this is good tactics or not. But if you do try and get rid of the Chinese units to then allow you to move, you can take losses. So it's better to get your combat power up and your speed up before you start doing anything. So at the minute we're in the preparation phase. On to turn 3. The International Marine Force marches on Peking. 16th of June 1900. Empress Dowager Six, I don't know how you would pronounce that, summoned the Imperial Court for a mass audience and addressed the choice between using the Boxers to evict the foreigners from the city or seeking a diplomatic solution. This turn only, you may decrease the strength of all Boxer units on the map by -1 for -1 action. That is interesting. But what we've got here, we've got somebody in the north already, so we don't do anything with that. We've got somebody in the west. We haven't got anybody in the south, so we put, again, it's a Boxer with a combat power of 5, and we get 3 actions this turn. So the Boxer is there, combat power 5. I've still not got anybody in the east. What I could have done actually, you can move these if there's no, because there's none. I'll ignore that, I'll talk about it when I come to do it. So we've got 3 actions. First one I'm going to do, I don't know if this is good. Yeah, we need to get rid of 2, so I'm going to move that fortification up by 1. And we're going to have a melee attack here. +1 casualty and +1 casualty. So we know we're going to get rid of the Boxer, whatever we roll. Ideally, we want to roll as low as possible here. A 1 would be good. And it's a 5. So it's not, right, we're down to 1 turn because use the fortifications. And I've now used, so we've got 5. So let's check this. Roll a 5, +1 casualty, +1 casualty. So we're at 7. So we know they've gone. But we've also got a 7 to inflict on these, -1 for the Japanese, so it's 6. So we've got to score a 6 to inflict. Not good. So what are we going to do? Well, first one's going to be that again. So we've got the Italians and the Japanese. And we've got, hang on, so what are we on? 5, 6, 7, 6. So we've got 6 casualties to inflict. We've got 5 to inflict now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not good. We've still got 1 turn left. Now, you might say, in fact, you might say, and you'd be right, because I've just realised I was working this out wrong, why did I not increase the fortifications another level and I could have taken another loss? I was thinking, what if I don't get rid of that? I still need, but as I worked out with the casualties, I was bound to get rid of it, so I should have done that. Still learning the game. And the final turn, I want to get the fortifications up, or do I have a shot at that? fortification, so that's my last turn. So this one advances. And this one advances. That's the turn. Now the other thing I can do now is any unengaged legation units can be repositioned. Well, all these are unengaged at the moment, but these two are very low combat power, so I don't want to leave those two together. So I'm going to swap these two over. Okay, so that is the end of that turn. Relief column. 10th of June, International Marine Force marches on Peking. 2,000 Marines under British Vice Admiral Edward Seymour decide to advance on foot from Tianjin to Peking after the rail line is cut. So you've got a +1 dice roll modifier to relief column attack and advance die rolls this turn. Ooh, we might now. We've also got 3 actions, as you can see. Let's turn that to 3. And we also do this. That's the 4 again. And much as I'm tempted, I'm going to do pretty much the same again with the 3 actions. Combat power up to 3, and that to there. So that's not actually increased speed yet, but it's starting to get there. So a bit of housekeeping for that. We put that back in there. On to turn 4. Relief column attacked. 17th of June 1900. The Empress realised that popular support for the Boxers in the countryside was almost universal, and that suppression will be both difficult and unpopular. You may spend 2 actions this turn to roll on the Peltang Cathedral defence table. If successful, place the heroic effort marker in the ready box on the map. So I'm guessing, I was doing this wrong, I'm guessing this doesn't come out until you've had this, because you only have to pay 1 action once it's out. Let me explain that. Let's just put that down and come back to it. Using 1 action to activate, place the marker in the ready box next to the draw deck on the legation map. Once ready, so why would you use 2? The heroic effort mark can also be ready by a successful roll on the Peltang Cathedral defence table triggered by particular legation cards. So why would I use 2 actions to roll I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do what it says. I'm going to roll the Peltang. Is it Peltang? Peltang, sorry, Cathedral. So we've got, let's go on with, again, it's Boxer units. We've got a Boxer unit of 4 coming in the north. We've already got one to the west. The east one, Boxer unit of 5. We've got 4 actions, but 2 of them are going to be taken with the Peltang Cathedral. So we roll, and then we apply what it says down there. So 1 is a failure. French and Italian forces lose 1 command power. 2 or 3 is no effect. 4 or 5 is success. 6 is a ringing success, where you ready the heroic effort marker and gain +1 combat power to the French and Italian forces. So let's roll the dice and see where we are with this. And it's a 1. So we've used 2 actions and it's a disaster, because the French and the Italians both drop down by 1. And it's not ready. Okay, so we've got 2 more chances. We're going to have a melee attack at these guys. Oh, so let me put that back on melee attack on those guys. And then we're probably going to have a long range attack at these. This guy's on 4. So let's roll for the melee on the west side. And it's a 4. +1 because we're the British. In fact, +2 because of these. 6. Another +1 there, 7. So this guy's gone. And what we've got here, we've got 4 for our casualties. 5, but -2, so 3. We're down to 3. So what I'm going to do there is use a fortification. United Kingdom will lose 1, and the Austrians will lose 1 as well. So, but that box of casualty box has gone, and we've got 1 turn left. And I'm going to go for this guy and try and shoot him, because we've got that +1 to hit at long range. So let's roll. We've got 5, so we need above 5. We've got +1 modifier. We nearly did, if you saw that. It's a 2. +1 modifier, it's a 3, so it's a miss. So no good on that one. These guys need to advance. They're now in melee range. Long range here. Long range here. We could move these, but we can't move them onto any of these because these are all engaged at the moment, because I don't really need those two together. It'd be better to spread those out a little bit. So let's see what happens with the relief column. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm picking one of these. It doesn't matter the order of this. Or does it? Because on this one we're adding a 5 to the blocking force, and we have to conduct a Chinese blocking attack. Let me read out the what happened. 18th of June 1900, en route to Peking, the relief column under Seymour is attacked and stopped. Ominously, Chinese Imperial troops are discovered among the attackers. 2 actions. So we've got 2 actions, but what I want to just check is which order, whether we put this on the map first or we draw the card, because that I would guess we draw the card and then add that to it. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, relief column card draw, so you card draw and then placement segment. So we're taking this card, this one, 5, putting it in here, spinning it round. Actually, you can't see, but I've got my head turned away. There. Oh, and it's a 3. As good as it could be there. But there is a blocking attack. This is the first blocking attack. Let me just read this out to you. So, after drawing a random Chinese blocking attack, after drawing a random Chinese blocking unit from the corp, that Chinese blocking unit then conducts an attack if indicated by the card, which it has. We apply any die roll modifiers from the 8 Nation Army unit's combat power and the current card. Well, there's no modifier on the current card, but this is why we've been getting this up, you see. We've got a +3 modifier. So in effect, if the roll is less than the Chinese blocking unit strength, you are defeated and suffer 1 loss, which we'll talk about when we suffer 1. If the roll is equal to the Chinese blocking unit strength, stalemate. No effect, or suffer 1 loss if in a danger zone. Well, a danger zone are these areas here, but we're not in there anyways. And if roll is greater than the Chinese blocking unit strength, victory, no effect. So I'm going to roll the dice, but we are going to win, because we've got +3 to combat power here. We're going to need to scale. We need to score 4. Well, we're getting a 4. So we're finished on 5. So we've done that. And tempting as it is to try and start to move, I'm not doing yet. I'm going to use both actions to move the speed up. So that's that done. And that goes back in here. I've got 3, a 4 and a 5 in here. Fortunately, we drew the 3. Okay, now how long are we in? 45 minutes in. I think probably going to call that a day here at this point. So we've done 4 turns out of a possible 24, if I can manage to take it that long, or I might get to the relief column in first. So at the moment we're not in a bad position. No fortifications at the moment, and we've got them attacking on 3 fronts, although only this one that's breached the walls at the moment. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I don't know how quickly I'll get the second part up because I'm away with work. I don't know if I'll get a chance today. So part 2, I think there'll only be one more part, but I'm guessing it might be 3 or 4 days before I finish that off. Okay, thank you for tuning in.